Hey, thank you for coming back. And today I'd like to talk to you about another flashlight. And it's this one right here. This is the Anker Boulder LC90 flashlight. Now, some time ago, I think it's been about a year since I did it, I reviewed another Anker flashlight, and it's this one. This is the LC40 that I did. And I was impressed with that flashlight, so I decided to get this one. Now, it is zoomable. You just simply put, it's not zoomable a whole lot, but there's a little bit of a zoom if you push this thing back and forth a little bit. Inside the box, not only do you get this flashlight, you get a little bit of a wristband or whatever you want, a lanyard to carry it around your wrist. And you do get a charging cable, which is USB type A on one side. And unfortunately, USB type C on the other end. That ought to tell you pretty much how old the technology is in this flashlight. Now it is IPX5 water resistant. I already showed you that it's zoomable. It's 900 lumens, and they use a Cree LED, which is a 10-watt LED. That's all I know. Wasn't any more specific about that. Same thing with the lumen rating. The high is 900 lumens. We'll get into that in just a moment. You have a 3,350 milliamp hour 18650 battery. More than that in a little bit. There's also overcharge protection built into this. And it is an anodized aluminum body and an aluminum reflector on the inside. And you get 5 modes: high, medium, low, strobe, and SOS. Anker does not even give me any lumen rating for medium, low, strobe, and SOS. They just say 900 lumens. The recharge time is about 6 hours with the included micro USB cable. And that 6 hours, according to Anker, was done with a 1 amp charger. Now, I didn't bother trying to use a bigger charger, a more modern charger, like a fast charger or something like that, or a 2.4 amp charger on this flashlight. Because I figure it might trip the overcharge protection, because chances are, since it is an older technology type flashlight, it most likely will trip the overprotection or overcharge protection in it. So I didn't even bother. And the runtime is about 6 hours. And yeah, that's fairly true. Now, before I get into it, this is the box it comes in, which tells you some stuff here on either side. Well, let me see, which way is it? This way. You get some pictures here telling you a little bit, and then you got some written specifications. You can go ahead and pause the video right now if you want to read all that. And then on the back, they tell you a little bit more about this thing, flashlight. Now, it does have a funky type of a UI or user interface, which is right here on the back, the button. And of course, on one side of this, they got a hole for that lanyard. And the way, every time you turn it on, you see that little flash just before the light comes on? That's what happens. So you'll probably see that in the test video. I haven't edited that yet, so maybe I'll leave it in, maybe I won't, I don't know. But speaking of the test video, here it is right now. you've seen the test video. What are my thoughts about the Anker Boulder LC90? Well, first of all, I'm kind of torn about it. I do like the style. I mean, here's its baby brother. Here's the big one. So the zoom function is a little bit loose. I don't like the idea that it's a micro USB charging. Speaking of which, since I didn't do it in the first half of the video, let me show you. You just simply unscrew the tail cap. And you get this little piece of silicone rubber here to kind of keep it together. There's the inside of the cap. There's your charging port and the indicator light, which is red when it's charging, blue when it's fully charged. The other thing I don't like about this is they obviously changed this flashlight over the years. Now, this is kind of an old flashlight. I believe it came out in I think it's 2017. It might be a little bit older than that. If you look closely, this piece here, this black piece, can actually come off. Now, when I was doing some research for this video, I noticed that people were saying, yes, the battery can be taken out. You can't do that no more. If you look closely, you can see that inside the threads here, how it's kind of whitish compared to the black part out here. They glued this in. Also, there's your 18650 battery. You see this weird little washer? It's like a rubber washer around the battery. And I cannot get that out for the life of me without ripping it and tearing it apart. The other thing is when you try putting this back in, take your time. Because you can cross thread it, and this is basically just plastic, and if you cross thread it, I don't know if you'll be able to get it back together again. And I'm really hoping that I didn't screw it up, and let's try it again. Okay. So technically, now you can no longer take the battery out and change it. I mean, I still may play around with the battery compartment to see if I can take that little rubber washer or whatever the heck that is out of there so I can change the battery. But in some of these older videos, anywhere from maybe not 8 years ago, but there's a couple of years old where I seen the people just take it off, they unscrewed that black piece, the battery slipped right out, and that was it. And even something as recent as barely a year ago, someone had one and they were able to just simply pull it right out. Maybe I happen to have gotten a bad one. I don't know. Of course, I got this on eBay through the Anker official store or Anker Direct. I'll leave a link for that down in the description below. But that kind of turned me off a little bit that right now I cannot take the battery out. If I'm able to take the battery out and, be able to replace it and the battery and the flashlight still functions, maybe I'll do an update video on that. But as it stands, oh, by the way, one thing I forgot to mention, and it just came apart. This thing, I had to actually get a pair of pliers to take that black cap off in the first place. So, just to let you know. So do I think it's worth you getting the Anker LC90 Boulder flashlight? Personally, I'm going to have to say no. I'm sorry, but if I have to, since the battery right now is non-replaceable, I'm going to have to say no. I can kind of forgive this one because it wasn't that much money. But this one was, about, a little bit more. I mean, the price fluctuates quite a bit on eBay. But right now, I'm going to have to say no, maybe not, don't get it. I mean, if you're a fan of Anker and Anker products and maybe you just want to collect it, fine. But otherwise, no, it's a hard pass. Also, to be honest, I'm not, I don't care about it being a micro USB charging port, because the faster you charge your battery can actually wear the battery out, especially a lithium ion battery. So a little bit slower time. Okay, it's a lot slower charging time, but I don't mind that as much. I just really wish I could get a flashlight from Anker that has a easily replaceable battery. The UI on it is kind of, or user interface is kind of funky, where you press it and it kind of gives a quick flash before it turns on. They need to get rid of that. Just be simple, like the LC90. You just click through the modes, boom, you're done. That's what Anker needs to do. Okay, but otherwise, it is a good flashlight. Does put out a decent amount of light. It does zoom in a little bit, not as much as I would like, but it does zoom in a little bit and zooms out to a nice floodlight. Good spread on it, good color on it, really good long run time on it. But the thing that gets me the most is the battery is non-replaceable in this flashlight. Otherwise, yeah, it's a good flashlight, but it's going to be up to you to decide whether you want to buy it or not. Well, that pretty much sums it up for this video. And if you happen to like this video, please give it that thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget about that notification bell. It would really help me out a lot if you were to share this video, maybe a few more of my others, on all of your social media. And until the next video, you, your friends, your family, and yes, even all of your pets, you all have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.